Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. The University of Nebraska has selected a new interim athletic director after the departure of Trev Alberts this week. Dennis LeBlanc is a 40-year veteran of Husker athletics who's been serving as an executive associate AD for academics. He originally joined the department back in 1983 as track and field staff. LeBlanc will lead the department while the national search for a permanent replacement gets underway. Interim President Chris Kuborik is in charge of that. He said, though, he has no predetermined timeline set for selecting the right person to lead Husker athletics going forward. In other news, the driver of a fatal accident that killed a person on a bicycle has entered a plea deal. 63-year-old Dale Tenike pleaded no contest to one misdemeanor motor vehicle homicide charge in court on Thursday. He was accused of hitting 47-year-old Dr. Matthew Lataka, an Omaha resident and Methodist Health System cardiologist who was riding his bike in an area just north of Valley in September of last year. Deputies in Douglas County responded to the scene, found Lataka in critical condition. Medics attempted life-saving efforts, but the cyclist died at the scene. Tenike has been scheduled for sentencing this May. In the unicameral, state lawmakers moving ahead with a somewhat controversial budget move on Thursday, moving $244 million from cash reserves in state agencies into the general fund. The transfer carries a portion that garnered a lot of discussion on Thursday, a $70 million move from the State Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund. That transfer is opposed by groups representing state businesses who pay premiums into the Unemployment Insurance Fund to cover payments to workers who find themselves unemployed. They say the money should be used only for unemployment checks and job training. An amendment by Senator Danielle Conrad to take the $70 million transfer out of the general budget failed. The budget transfers advanced to a second round of debate on a 37-5 vote. Grand Island Public Schools taking action in reducing staff because of budget cuts. Now, originally, the district said they expected a need to reduce 30 or more staff positions as part of their plan to cut $5 million from their budget. But yesterday, the board cut just one position, a social worker. According to Superintendent Matt Fisher, that's because of the process of natural attrition, meaning people retired or moved on to other jobs. Fisher says the district is still working, though, to put two employees into different positions.
We're very excited about being down to the point where we've almost found a role for everyone that's going to be displaced through this reduction process. Certainly we understand the pain that goes along with not having a position for the three, and we're hopeful that they're going to find either something within the district, maybe at a later date as more resignations take place, or something outside of the district.
Fisher says they'll be continuing with their staffing process in the meantime. The district cutting in other areas as well. They've reduced the number of bus routes they offer, and the Academies and Pathways model, has already cut some of its programs to help address the budget issue. There's new leadership in Loomis Public Schools, announcing the promotion of Nate Weaver to superintendent on Thursday. Weaver's been a principal in the district for 6 years, takes over for Sam Dunn, who left the district to become the new middle and high school principal at St. Cecilia in Hastings. As for Weaver's replacement, the district announced Jeff Ellsworth as its newest principal. He most recently served as principal of Jefferson Elementary School in North Platte. In national news, a nearly unanimous vote confirmed career Foreign Service member Dennis Hankins to the U.S. ambassadorship in Haiti. It's a position that's been vacant for 2.5 years. Hankins' confirmation comes as coordinated gang attacks have a grip on Haitian institutions and law enforcement. The unrest potentially causing some to leave Haiti and head toward the U.S. John Lawrence has more.
As tensions and violence escalate in Haiti, government officials are extending the Western region's curfew until March 17th.
Does it feel safe right now?
No.
It doesn't.
The U.S. State Department is telling Americans to stay clear of the country.
do not travel there. It's not safe to do so. And for those who are there, leave as soon as you can feasibly do so without putting yourself at risk.
A state of emergency was declared in the West region on March 3rd. It's scheduled to expire on April 3rd.
People in Haiti have to live like this all the time because of the terror of the gangs, and something needs to be done.
The unrest has caused tens of thousands of Haitians to flee their homes.
People who I'd known that had, lived their whole lives there and lived through a lot of the tough times were reporting to me that they'd never seen anything like what this became.
The Biden White House is discussing ways to respond to a potential mass exodus from Haiti and may expand capacity at a Guantanamo Bay migrant center separate from where terror suspects are held.
It would be irresponsible if DHS and the interagency wasn't taking a look at what we might do should that flow dramatically increase and how we would properly handle individuals that might be seeking to flee.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, a mild winter impacts more than just your ability to get outside and enjoy the weather. Conditions turned a bit wet this week. The question now, how is all this going to impact crops and plants? Jake Bartecki has more.
A warm end of the winter and start to the spring has now also become a wet end of the winter and start to the spring, as several areas of the state saw heavy midweek rain. And that begs the question, what will all this mean for early season plant growth? I talked to Gage County Extension educator Nicole Stoner to find out more.
So you're going to have some of those spring things that are going to come up, and maybe a little bit earlier. This year we had tulips start coming up in, I think, February. And so when those plants do that, that's just them doing their thing. You can't really avoid that. You can't stop that. Just let them grow. The biggest thing is to think about the things you can control.
And some of those things include tempered levels of garden maintenance. Stoner recommends leaving old leaf litter until it warms up in later April and May, after a winter where southeast Nebraska received minimal snow that also impacts spring plant growth.
A dry winter is more damaging to our plants. The snow cover actually protects your plants. It actually insulates it a little bit. And it's windy in Nebraska, especially in the winter months. And so those winter winds can come through, and if we don't have snow cover, it actually damages those plants more.
Local areas of Nebraska and northern Kansas received heavy rain with nearly a half-inch falling in Beatrice. That rain makes up for the lack of snow in the winter and the continuing drought from last year.
We're still in a drought from last year. And you think about June, July, and August, it's very dry. So we want to make sure that we're getting that moisture in the spring months so that we can have a good amount of moisture there to get us through the dry months.
In Beatrice, Jake Bartecki, News Channel, Nebraska.
And the movie Snack Shack held its world premiere showing in Nebraska City this week, where its director grew up. Dan Swanson was there and has more.
Director Adam Riemeyer says the movie Snack Shack is a love letter to his hometown. But it appeared at the world premiere Wednesday that love is mutual. Packed house roared with laughter with references to Nebraska Heisman Trophy winner Mike Rozier and the state's first female governor, Kay Orr. A question and answer session with Riemeyer and movie stars Connor Sherry and Mika Abella was delayed to process out the tears. The coming-of-age film was based on events in 1991 Nebraska City, and the hometown audience felt it all.
See, this screening has actually been so crazy because so many of the jokes hit because you know exactly what's going on, and it's just crazy because every screening different things are hitting in different places, and this one was just really fun because you guys were so excited and engaged and loud, and I love that.
The movie's end credits listed at least 80 local residents, and there were scenes of well-known locations, including one scene inside the very theater where Wednesday's audience was sitting.
Recreating it here, they were just some of the most surreal moments of joy I've had. So yeah, sitting here tonight with all of you was really amazing. So I really enjoyed hearing you laugh. I did. Appreciate it.
The line that formed before the opening included Scooter Edmiston, the Parks and Rec director when the boys ran the Snack Shack.
Well, I've learned a lot of things that I didn't know went on during that time.
Chris Atkins was a big-time customer at the Snack Shack.
In 1991, we used to take our bikes and skateboards out there and hooliganize the pool. So we were regulars at the pool in the 90s.
Resident Dorothy Simonsbergen said she is not used to the language that gave the film its R rating, but she surmises the acronym must mean Friends Under Christ's Kingdom. She got a role in the movie by attending a Hot Topics meeting where Riemeyer was the guest speaker.
And I have to leave. And he said, "You're in." I said, "You're like I'm in the movie?" And are you proud of Nebraska City and the personality of our whole city? I believe so.
Lucille Sharp, who lived most of her 87 years in Nebraska City, was a reluctant bank teller in the movie. She talked about auditions.
We just sort of waited our turn, and then they asked us to read a few lines. And that was it.
Sherry and Gabrielle LaBelle arrived in Nebraska City 2 weeks before shooting to experience everything from cicadas singing to backyard 4th of July fireworks.
This town, I mean, the second we landed, it was really weird. You never read a script and then land and see the storefronts that you just read for a month and a half in prep. Like everything matched. Like it was like landing in a dream that I had been like prepping and reading for weeks and weeks, and then it was like here.
The movie's release was delayed by the actors' strike, and the premiere was questioned when the Nebraska City Theater closed this winter for a refresh. Bella said the movie is fun, but personally challenging.
I think Brooke is a character that has a lot of traps, and Adam knew that when he wrote her. And you know, we both talked extensively about not wanting Brooke to just be like a troublemaker and to be, you know, just solely there to like, you know, break this friendship apart. Like Brooke is a, you know, fully formed person, and her intentions are pure, and she has depth, and she has feelings, and she has tender moments.
For Remar, the tender moments were also shared.
And it was so important to do it in Nebraska City, and to have so many of you try out for parts and get parts, and to be woven in with these actors is the coolest, most surreal experience of my life. This is the screening of my life right here. So I'm just really excited to present this film to you.
Edmiston says a $3,000 bid for concessions at today's Steinhardt Park Aquatic Center would be way too low. After watching the movie, one might respond, "Yeah, Scooter, sure it is." From Nebraska City, I'm Dan Swanson, News Channel Nebraska.
And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com. Click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.